So are you a martyr if you go into your labor and decide that you don't want to have an epidural? I mean, some people are going to tell you 100% yes, anybody who does not have an epidural is a martyr. But my answer to you is maybe. And the maybe depends on whether or not you have educated yourself prior to going into labor, whether you have a plan for how you want this labor to unfold, whether you know what options you have for comfort measures and ways to help labor proceed and progress, whether you have had conversations with your medical caregivers and kind of come up with a plan that is agreeable to both of you, whether or not you're on the same page as your support people. And if you have not done any of that and you still go into your labor and say, under no circumstances do I want any pain medication no matter what, then you could end up being the definition of a martyr, because just laying there in pain and not knowing how to deal with the pain, but somehow deciding that you want some metal pinned to your shirt after this labor is over because you didn't have pain medication, to me, that's being a martyr. But if you are educated, if you are all those things, if you are doing all those things that I mentioned, then you're going to go into your labor with lots of options, ways to alleviate pain, ways to facilitate the progress of labor. And if you have those options, then not having an epidural doesn't make you a martyr. It just makes you somebody who's really in tune with their own bodies and their own situations, is making very educated and personal choices in the moment that work best for them. So not just because there's a checklist of things that have to be done, or not just because their friends, family, and neighbors are all telling them that they are crazy if they don't have an epidural, but maybe they're choosing not to have it because in their unique labor, they don't need to add the potential risk of an epidural because they are using other options that are working beautifully for them. So you will never know until you are there. So really the takeaway that I want you to have is that the decision to have an epidural or not can't really be made until you're in the moment. And I say that to those of you who feel very, very strongly right now that you don't want an epidural, and on the flip side to those of you who are absolutely positive that you want to have an epidural. My encouragement is to get educated. I know I sound like a broken record, but when you are educated, then you have the best of both worlds. And truthfully, that is how you ensure the best and safest birth experience.